Hello, people. It's Mo. It's never a foul, and it's a big day in the Premier League. It's the day of the fourth. Four for Man City and four for Man United as well, but it's in their goal. De Gea with a stinker, Maguire with another stinker. I don't know who to call out, but we have Double A in the background, the Man United fan, and he will give us all about how he feels. If you haven't checked Cass's reaction, it's on Never a Foul before, but the thing about it is Man City played the perfect game, probably. Newcastle tied with Brighton today. Newcastle, the top four contenders, as we called them last week. Maybe not so much, but we'll talk about Newcastle as well. What else today happened? Arsenal. What a game against Leicester. They go up. Leicester come back. They go up by 2 goals again. Leicester come back. They go up by 2 goals again. But you know what it is, people? It is intro time. Before I bring the panel in, please hit that like button for us. Support us if you haven't already yet. I know a lot of people in the comments, but let me see who's in the comments already. Sid is here. Thank you so much, Sid. Zohaib, Samuel, Darcy, Solo MCFC. Thank you so much. Hit the like button on the way. Joyce, Pac-Man, always here. Always here, Pac-Man. Pablo is here. So, without further ado, the crew's with me in the background. I'm going to start with Newcastle. Thank you, Rams, for being here. It is the one and only. You'll find all her work. She does great work everywhere about football. She knows her football. She knows a lot about the club. She knows about her club and other clubs. She knows a lot about Atletico Madrid. I'm sure you guessed who it is. It is the one and only, the magnificent Kendall.
Thank you for having me again. I feel like I'm becoming a regular on here now. It's nice. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. And for the winners, the City fan, Mr. Imran. What's up, my friend? How are you?
How's it going? Yeah,
I'm
you
good,
okay,
I'm
guys?
good, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
glad to have you, man, with me. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Obviously,
Can
3
get
points.
better, right? Can get better.
Yeah, definitely.
And one of the most reasonable fans I've talked to, Man United fans, he's very reasonable, knows his football, but also knows his kits. If you're interested, it's Talking Kits on YouTube, everywhere. It's a great show. We love him, but he's here for a therapy session. You can guess who it is. It's not Cass. It is the great, the mighty Double A. What's up, my friend?
Good evening, everyone. Nice to see everyone here. It's a cheery Saturday night, I'm sure, for 3 of you anyway. I'm guessing. I'm just happy to be here. I've had therapy sessions all week. It seems. I didn't think I would having to have double sessions in 1 week, but it's good to be here. Kendall, it's been a while. Imran, it's good to meet you. Hopefully, you got to go easy on me tonight, guys. That's what I'm hoping for. I know the comments aren't. As soon as they've heard my name, they're coming thick and fast. I can imagine. I can see. So let's go. I'm excited. I'm happy. So that's
okay. Before I know this is never a foul. I know it's the Premier League. I know all of this and that. But someone just told me that Inter just won, and I did my watch along for my beloved Inter for the first game of the season, and it was hard. And we won in the 94th minute, right before the whistle, from a corner kick after we played literally 2-1-7 at the end of the game. Literally, we did that. But anyway, here we go, people. Today was a tough day, right? From the start, Everton with a stinker. Well, I'm not going to talk about this now because I think he's the first to get sacked. Or maybe it's Ten Hag. I'm not sure. You reckon, Aaron? You reckon, Double A? What is happening with Ten Hag? Is he Man United? What is happening? Talk to me about first goal, De Gea's fault. Then second goal, it is Maguire passing wrong to Eriksen, right? Sorry, he did it once, and then De Gea did it second time, and then they scored, and then Maguire, and then the corner with Lisandro Martinez. We talked about it. He couldn't jump because he's not big enough. But again, I'm wrong. You're right. Everybody, Man United is right. He's aggressive. He's this. But the coach subs him. He chose not to sub Maguire out. He subbed him out. Do you think he's protecting him? I'm not sure. But talk to me about, is it, what is it? Is it 7 hog now? Or is it 5 hog? Is it, what is it? It's kind of strange, bro. It's kind of strange.
Listen, Ten Hag is the victim of circumstance. That's all I'm going to say for now. He's the victim of circumstance because he's been let down. I said it yesterday. He's been let down by the club massively. You can't expect a new manager to come in after coming off the back of Manchester United's worst ever Premier League season in terms of points. And yes, football. How we scraped 6, I'll never know. It's lucky Newcastle didn't have any heart at the start of the season because we've been further down. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass, Kendall. That's genuinely the truth. We're very lucky. And, you know, you talk about the way he wanted to play, playing out from the back. They can't do it. It's simple as that. I've defended De Gea as much as I can. It's time for him to go, innit? He needs to go. He needs to leave. He can't do what we're wanting him to do. And the mistakes are becoming more and more regular. But if they can't, Maguire and Delo and Shaw, I can't give Martinez that much criticism. I've not seen him enough to say it was a mistake to play him in this game today, given obviously how physical that Brentford are, and they were going to target him in that way, and he saw it. I think he shouldn't have played. He should have been Varane or Maguire. But playing out from the back, he's not for these players. It's like asking me at 5'6" to slam dunk. It's just not going to happen. They don't have the skill set. I don't have the skill set to slam dunk a basketball, so I'm not going to try. We saw it with Ranić last year. He tried it for half an hour against Crystal Palace, and they couldn't do it again after that. They pressed for half an hour against Palace, looked quite well, and then it all went kaput. So asking these players, I don't trust these players. I'm not even angry. I'm not even upset because it's expected. I said last night on Trafford Tunnel, we will lose, and we did because we didn't go into the season prepared. We've got a midfield that is probably the worst midfield in the league. So it's all expected, and it's hard to be mad at it because, like I say, victim of circumstance. The fans are, Ten Hag is, and if he's not careful, he's gonna get chucked under the bus like the previous 3 managers.
Kendall or Imran? Just one question about.
Yeah, I think firstly you mentioned that Ten Hag is victim of the management and things like that, people at the top. And I understand, I agree with you that they didn't bring in the players that he wanted probably, but maybe the club couldn't bring in some of those players. But the question I'd say, I'd still put it down to Eric Ten Hag, and the reason is, as a manager and with the current squad that he has, and I think he's got a better squad than what Brighton have. Shouldn't he be getting the best out of that squad? Better than what what Brighton are getting out of theirs.
You would say yes if 50% of them players were anywhere near form or playing well, but this is just a continuation of last season. There's no difference. You could put Ranić or Ollie in that dugout and they're playing the exact same way. Nothing has changed, and I just think it's because they can't do what he wants them to do. If they could do that, I think we would. I'm
sorry. There's a comment here. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but victim of circumstances. I'm just playing that he knew, and he had how many months? Double A, he had 3 months with them from actually beginning of June, 3 months with them or something, that he knew what he's walking into. And now we're giving the guy excuses. I get it. He's a good manager with Ajax. I get it. And the players made terrible mistakes today. But to be honest and say that, because it's not only you, it's people blaming the players. The players were terrible today. But also we can't just excuse the manager. He is the manager.
Of course. Listen. I'm not deflecting away from his person, the people he's picked or his tactics. But to get on his back so soon after 2 matches and a couple of pre-season games is highly reactionary because he's not had time. So you can't after 2 league games, you can't ask him to be getting these players playing to a level that's going to be competing for the league because they couldn't do it last year, and we were very, very lucky. It came down to West Ham. I'm sure it was against Brighton. They drew or lost, which meant we came 6th, if I remember right. We were very lucky not to finish 7th. So I just don't trust these players, and it doesn't matter what manager comes in because again, We're seeing it again. They did it with Ollie, they did it with Jose, they did it with Van Gaal. These players will throw you under the bus. They're just not to be trusted at all. There's a culture in the club that they're bigger than anyone that comes in. And when I say he's a victim of circumstance, what I mean by that is he's been promised. He must have been promised certain things in terms of what he can bring, who he can bring in, what targets he can get. None of that has happened. We've brought in a second left back, understudy left back, a free signing in Ericsson, and a centre back that everyone's now saying needs to play DM, which makes no sense at all to me. So he's not been backed because we've lost Pogba, Matic, and Mata from that midfield. Rightly or wrongly, if you like them or not, that's fine. But we are now a lot weaker because of that, and we've had, people are asking for Iqbal and Savage to start games in the Premier League, and it's like, okay, so if you do that, is that going to be any better? It might not be any worse, but you could be on a hiding to nothing again, especially if you're asking for it against Liverpool, which I've seen on Twitter today. So what I mean by victim of circumstances is just the poor mismanagement of the club. But yes, the players probably are better than what we're seeing at the moment, but I don't think it's because I just don't think they can do what they want him to do.
Kendall, do you think? I just want to ask Kendall one thing. Do you think Newcastle are more appealing than Man United now at the moment? Way appealing?
It depends, because I think Man United pulls bigger. I mean, I know people are going to say that's not because of the window and whatever, but I do think Man United, just in terms of stature and what the club necessarily could be in the more immediate future, I think that it's probably Man United still. But if you're looking for a long-term project, you're looking for game time, you're looking for something that's going to keep building and building and building, then obviously you would choose Newcastle. But I don't think, I'm not like delusional enough to think that a Newcastle polls bigger than Man United, because I don't think it is at the moment. I just think Man United's problem is like it's just like an accumulation of everything. So the team at the moment is an accumulation of the last 4 or 5 managers. So that therefore there's constantly ideas batting off against each other. Fans, rival fans in particular, me included, are already like, oh, Ten Hag's, I never said Ten Hag was rubbish, but we're already like, oh yes, Man United are going to fail. When I think we've got to actually be understandable here and like understanding that there is a rebuild phase. I know we've been saying this for about 6 years now, but there is a rebuilding phase. This is the first chance really in reality where they've actually got a decent manager with decent tactical knowledge and who knows how to perform at the highest level, whether or not it's the Eredivisie or whatever, and people will always use that against him, but still he has extremely good experience, especially in the Champions League and in Europe and things like that. He's obviously not going to, because of the owners that they have, he's not going to get a new squad in a window. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen with us, and we've got however much money. It didn't happen with us. So we've only had 3 signings in this window, and one we already had on loan. So, it's not like something that is overnight. So obviously starting off the season is a little bit stressful. Like when you're like 2 losses, you're 20th in the Premier League table at a club as big as Man United. It's stressful. But yeah, I do agree. I kind of agree with bits of what everybody's saying. My sympathies cap with Ten Hag as well, because he knew what he was coming into. Every single man and his dog who follows football knows what Manchester United are, knows what the Glazers are, and knows everything. They've obviously fed him false promises. Probably a little bit like Daniel Levy and Conte at the time. Probably fed him a lot of promises that they can't keep, and they know that, but they probably just were that desperate for a manager of a decent caliber to come in that they've just said whatever they want, and they can't promise that. But everyone knew that. Every single person, no matter what football club you follow, you know that the Glazers are absolute parasites and they're leeches, and they leech out of the club at every decent opportunity. So for me, my sympathy's capped with him. I think, did anyone see the interview that Thomas Frank did at full time? He said he knew that Lisandro Martinez was short and that his forwards were going to be able to dominate that, so they targeted him. Yeah. So for me, that straight off, I would just not have played in there. That would have just been straight off it. And I agree. I don't think you should have played in there. But yeah, it's just, look, it's whether everyone comes to an acceptance that Manchester United are in a rebuild phase, and it's going to probably take at least 3 years to even get consistently top 4 again. Whether or not the Glazers pull the finger out, but yeah, I just think it's. I know it myself, so I can see it from both sides. I know it myself, and I know how terrible it is to compete at anything when everything's wrong. Like everything from the players, the manager, the owner, the board, like just every single thing's wrong. I know what it's like, so I'm understanding, but I'm also like half laughing as well about it.
I'd do the same thing if it's any other club. That's modern football, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
what we're here for.
100%.
It's all about the banter or whatever.
It's not about the banter. You know what? I feel sorry. I have friends that are money.
If you go on Twitter, it definitely is.
Yeah, but it's not. I'm sorry. Even
you.
I'm sorry. Imran, is it only about the banter or? I'm sorry. This is miserable, guys. You guys don't like. If you look at it, this is miserable for some fans because these fans pay money. These fans watch the games. These fans do a lot for this club, and then this is what they get from the players.
I've been there, so I know. So I understand.
It's a
100%.
disgrace. But I'm sorry,
pro,
Kendall.
I'm
Newcastle
100% pro owners out. 100% bad owners. Sorry.
Newcastle is. I know that like when in the 95 and the 96 you were challenging for the league and all, but Man United, these guys, especially this generation of Double A and if Imran,
100%.
myself, we grew up. Man United is right there, and then it's miserable today. This is not Liverpool. This is Brentford. This is Brentford. And Brentford, I want to talk about the game tactically. Imran, you said you watched the game. They scored in every way. They scored by pressing Man United. They scored from set piece. They scored on the counter. So it's like, it doesn't matter. I played you left. I played you right. I still scored. I'm sorry. This is not only, it's in the whole system. It's ridiculous. It's miserable. And someone needs to stand up and say, you know what? It's my fault. We need to fix this. But nobody seems to be saying we need a rebuild. Everybody's saying, yeah, it's happening. It's good. We're on the right track. No, you're not. Do you think Imran, they're on the right track at all?
I agree. Do you know what? They played them with pace and power today. It was pace and power on the counter. They knew that a lot of these players weren't up to these games. You know, they really pushed them and made them run. I don't know why. Both as soon as I saw that starting 11, I don't know about you guys, saw that starting 11, and I thought Fred is the holding midfielder there, and he's being supported by Eriksen and Bruno. And I was thinking, is he going to get much support from these guys defensively or what? Straight away, I thought the problem that United have had over the last couple of seasons is defensively. They've been leaking goals. They've not really been able to keep up with opposition. They've not covered distances that a lot of oppositions cover. Will these guys be able to do this today? And I just thought immediately, no, these guys aren't going to be able to do it. And then we saw that the first 45 minutes unfold, and it was quite bad. I mean, you've got players, like Sancho, who's should be stepping up now in his second season. Bruno, who had a great first season, but then he's just gone off the boil, and now it's like, how was he even compared amongst the best players in this league? And then Ronaldo, obviously, he didn't get, at his age as well, and he didn't get a supply that he needed. So
supply what, Imran? Imran, the guy was terrible today. I'm sorry, Double A. The guy was absolutely. It's ridiculous that he still plays football at this level, and he wants to play football.
I mean, if we played to his strengths, I think he'd be okay. There was a couple of crosses in the second half from Delo. He had a couple of headers. He could have done better on probably one of them. I think he probably would be cursing himself that he probably would have got a goal, but. It's hard for me to talk objectively on it because I've never hated. Well, I can't really use the word hate. That's a strong word, but that's how strongly I feel that. Or I'll say it better. There's not one player that I like in my football team. There's not actually one. Like, I can't tell you. I can't sit here and defend any player. They're all shit. They're all terrible. And whether that's because they're not good enough or they're terribly out of form, I was saying it the other week in regards to Rashford that. He needs taking out the team altogether. He needs to be getting the last 5 minutes of a game because at the moment he's trying to play his way out of bad form and into good form, and you cannot do it. And you see it every single time because the step overs that he used to do that will come off, the little turns, the quick bit of pace he had, and he find the yard to shoot. He can't do it anymore, and he can't do it at the moment. And he's being found out and tackled very early on in terms of when he gets possession of the ball. And Imran, you mentioned Bruno. Bruno he's been overplayed. He was overplayed by Ole, and Rashford was the same with that. And I think it's just because an over reliance on Bruno now to try and get us out of it as well. And he can't do it. He's his head's gone. As soon as he gets tackled once and he don't agree with it, his head's gone. And it's the same when I was speaking to Ty earlier this morning, and he was saying that the first goal is important because if they get the first goal, their heads will drop, their heads will go, and you saw it. And I didn't expect a capitulation like that in the first half. Absolutely not. I thought we might lose 2-1, maybe 2-0. But to be 4-0 down at half time, it shows you the level we are at, and we're not at a very high level at the moment. And there's nothing positive. There's actually nothing positive about supporting Manchester United at the moment, and that's probably the hardest thing because, like you were saying, Mo, I pay to go to watch this nonsense. And I am 2 games into the season, 1 game at home. I am very close to leaving my seat empty for the rest of the season, and that's the truth.
I think Kendall was in the same when what's his name was there. They wanted to have a protest. They wanted him to sell the club before he sells it, right? Like a couple of years ago, and there's something happened.
Protests and stuff, but nothing ever. I remember when everyone stopped going and they had to give away 10,000 season tickets because like no one was buying season tickets anymore. But that didn't make him want to sell the club. He was trying to sell the club for 10 years and just wasn't. He just kept moving the goalposts every single time. So, protests only do so much. It depends on the situation. Obviously, we saw with Chelsea prior to Todd Bowley buying the club that they didn't want. I can't remember what they were called now. But there was like a consortium that they didn't want to buy the club because it was like historical, like racial comments and things like that. So that worked. Obviously, it worked against Arnautovic because fans didn't want Man United to sign Arnautovic for obvious reasons. But yeah, it only works so much. But the problem is with football, especially in this country, and especially if you're local to your team, because obviously I know like there's fans from all over, and I love the fact that there is fans from all over, but they can't get to the games every week. So if you're a local fan, it is so hard. I know myself, it's so hard to give up going to the games because it's your life, there's circumstance. Like you're so used to going every week. I've had a season ticket now for 16 years. It's my 16th year as a season ticket holder. It's the only time during the week because of my life that I see my dad and my brother. So like at the time, it was like it was really hard not to go, even though the circumstances were hard. So I completely understand people who still want to go at the game. I'm not even going to say like don't go because you pay for that seat. You've already paid for it. What's the point not going? Like, do you know what I mean? But it's just other things, it's a really hard thing to navigate 100%. It's just because everyone's going to be against each other. You've got people saying, don't go, don't put money into the club. You've got people saying, well, I pay for that seat, so I'm going to go anyway. It's my team. Why am I not going to support my team? And then you end up fighting between yourselves, which is what happened to us. So I completely get it.
Yeah, I was saying this yesterday, like, we're called Manchester United, but the fan base couldn't be any more divided. You've got the top Reds on Twitter trying to tell everyone how to live, how to support the team. Like I get it. You shouldn't be giving these guys money. I'm a hypocrite in a way because I've got a season ticket. But if I didn't go again, at least that's 1 or 2 seats that are empty for the rest of the season. But you should be able to support your club in any way you can. Those people that can't get to games. And what about the jerseys? I 100% get that because you love the club, and that's probably one of the best ways to feel connected to United. Obviously, being a kit collector, I know what it is to have jerseys, even though I don't buy them for my own club, which is strange. But when I see the protests, there was one on Sunday, and people are wearing the new shirts, whether they're real or fake or not. You're sending a mixed message. I mean, I get it that you want to protest, but in merchandise.
I remember last season when there was protests and they had bags from the club shop.
They were doing it again, Kendall.
I got
doing it again. Yeah. There's videos of him, and I'm like,
I got someone in the background. I know you guys know him. AFC Monty, Arsenal fan. Of course, they're flying today, but we're still talking about Man. Before I move on from Man United, I want this question here. It's kind of strange because to go 4-0 down and someone asking best player, worst player I get, but best player, can you really name a best player today for the team?
Varane when he came on, I'm going to say.
He was good. At least he kept a clean sheet second half.
Yeah, we didn't concede when he came on, and he should be starting 100% hands down. So Varane, worst, yeah, take your pick. Put a name in a hat, pull one out. To be honest,
my opinion, no. Maguire, he literally doesn't know where to stand on the pitch.
I can't
sorry.
slag him off anymore than I already do. I can't stand
Like,
the guy. So
Forget,
What else can you
forget
say
like
about him at this
mistakes.
point?
It's not about mistakes anymore for me. It's about on the counter that they scored that fourth goal. The guy is looking at Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney is running by him, and he's looking at Ericsson like he doesn't know that the ball is going to be played behind him. The ball was played behind him.
I'm going to say something again. I said earlier on about Ten Hag. I'll say it again about Maguire. He's also a victim of circumstance. He's not an £80 million player, but he's been thrust into this team as an £80 million player. He's seen as an £80 million asset, given the captain's armband by a manager who shit the bed a bit too early and passed it to him. And now he's lumbered being this figurehead of Manchester United. But he's
that's where Ten Hag's messed up for me, because it's almost like Maguire's been rewarded with being a crap captain because of the situation. Like, even though a new manager coming in, he should have just changed it immediately, I think, because then there's another thing that he should just set off on a different foot completely. Because again, I agree with you. I don't think it's Maguire's fault necessarily that he's £80 million. It's no player's fault in this earth that their price tag is the price tag that it is. So I get that. But to consistently be bad over a 3-year period and still get the captaincy when the club's trying to move into a different direction, that was a mistake for me. And I think they should have switched it off straight away.
It's a very good statement.
There's still United fans that defend Maguire about the fact, we had did we keep the let the least goals in during the COVID season, and they back him on that. I'm like, Jesus wept. Like, come on, guys.
Who can be the captain if it's not Maguire? That's the thing. Who steps up on that plate? Who does it?
The shouts for Bruno. There's obviously shouts for Ronaldo. De Gea was mentioned, but again, you wouldn't now, would you?
Just give it anyone.
He's not vocal enough.
If he's gonna start every game, just give it to Christian Eriksen. He's probably the most experienced in there. And he's impressed me in bits like I agree with you, man. He's not a 6, and the fact he was getting played as a 6 today is criminal. He's a 10, and that shows you how bad our midfield is because he's being asked to play against or alongside Fred. I'd probably just give it to Eriksen if he's fit enough and he starts every game.
What would happen if they did what they do at City, where they give it? They'll say, right, the dressing room, you guys choose your captain.
I think that happened, and I think that's why Maguire is still a captain, to be honest with you.
But I don't think that can happen at Man United AA.
I think it has.
The dressing room is not even together, man.
I think it has happened, and I
think
think
anybody wants it? Do you think anybody wants it? To be honest,
I think Ronaldo,
too much pressure.
Ronaldo will snap your hand off for it. If he was,
I was saying today. I was saying in a space. So I was with Terry from the terrace. I was saying in a space today. And it's sort of, I'd say it's been one of the biggest downfalls with Man United, and the fans are slightly to blame for it. It's just because of the expectations that they've put on the squad without being realistic. And I think what they've done in the last few seasons, because they have had sort of Champions League places and finishes, it sort of glossed over the actual in-bed issues that are at the club. And I think what needs to happen, I said this for the last two years now, is sort of Man United need to do what Arsenal did sort of post Wenger, and they need to go, look, okay, we need a full reset. Like, they need even if you take a year out of Europe, you need to just firm the L, but for the long-term gain, it works out better for you, because I feel like what you did, and especially after Fergie's, you were buying players to keep you in that top 4 sort of for overpriced, because you had the marketing pool and you had loads of revenue. You were able to do that. But I think what needs to happen is you need to back Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag could turn out to be a good manager for you, but he does need players. And I think one of the biggest issues was, especially the players you've recently got. You've got players who worked with Ten Hag, great, but that's not really sort of convincing me. Like, you need to have a style of player, not necessarily once he's worked with. There needs to be a profile. Like with Arsenal, we had Project Youth, and it was we were looking for a player under 24, but with this, they can grow, they can play. This is exactly what we wanted, and that's what we did, and we went out there. Yeah. I think Man United need to have that reset, but because of the fans, and they've been so, like, I mean, last year there were people talking about a title charge for United, and do you know what I mean? It's like, realistically, the squad isn't applying themselves to the squad. It doesn't matter how good your players are, if they don't apply themselves, they're dog shit. And that's how Leicester won the league back in 2016. They applied themselves to their plan and they executed it masterfully. And that's what it needs at the end of the day. And I think you need to get clear out a lot of the players who are in that club, because they're not. I watched today, and it was actually sad to see, because I mean, you don't see. I mean, it was fun to watch, but it was just sad to see on the bigger scale because like United are such a big squad and they're getting slapped by Brentford, and you watch the players, and the players didn't give a shit. They didn't care.
I hear what you're saying, and just let me just reply to that quickly, just while we move before we move on. I hear what you're saying, Monty, and it's, you know, in an ideal world that would happen, but I think, you know, you say the fans' expectations, but I think that's a lot of football Twitter rather than actual match going fans, because I know a lot of Reds, obviously born in Manchester, so I know a lot of Reds. And listen, no United fan was thinking we was winning the league last season, other than the overexcited football Twitter. You also, it would be good to rip it all up and start, you know, a project like you have, but you need to remember we don't have people that are competent in their job roles. They've all been given the jobs because
you say that though. We had Mikel Arteta. He was a rookie. People were slagging him off.
Yeah, our coach, I get that, but our director of football and our technical director aren't knowledgeable and aren't best in class. They're shy. The owners are also shy. They took 11 million pound out in June before we'd even signed the player. They took 20 million in January after telling us that all the transfer budget was getting saved for the new manager. We spent about 60 million if you take away what we got for Pereira. So we don't have the structure in place to be successful. So it doesn't matter which manager comes in. It's been said a long time when Jose came, Ole, Manic said earlier this year, we need 10 players. He then got sacked. So the light has been focused on the problems at the club. The club don't want to solve them. They're not here for that. They will throw money at the problem to try and get to fourth. They're happy with fourth. Like people said about Arsenal for a long time, they're happy with that because they don't have to overextend themselves. And that was a problem with last year when Ole got sacked because they basically threw away the season in November. They could have got Conte, but he decided, no, let's wait. And this squad should see us getting top four. It didn't happen. And Rangnick exposed them and he got sacked. So I would love that to happen. But for that to happen, the owners need to go. And that's how deep-rooted the problems are.
We're going to move on to the successful side of Manchester. But before guys, there is 78 million people. It's 78 people here. Please hit that like button for us. We're still on 60 likes. Please hit that like button. Let's get that. I'm sure like 25 of you did not do it yet. So please hit that like button. It's underneath the live chat. If you're on the live chat, close it, hit the like button and come back again. Moving to City, Imran. What a comprehensive performance today. Like, forget Haaland didn't score, but De Bruyne, Gundogan, Cancelo on the left. Like, there is nothing wrong with this team at all. There is nothing. I can't even pick the hole in this team. There is no problems at all. Everybody's playing. Touch wood, City fans would say. But can anybody stop you guys? Can anybody stop City?
Well, no. There are obviously a couple of teams that you can think about who started off well, but we could end up losing some players, and that can all of a sudden change. But I think just overall, I think talking about the game, the match was it was a good performance. It was a steady performance. Nothing to complain about really. We dominated the game. Control the game from the back. I mean, Aki and Diaz, them two, they were solid, put in a great performance. The high line worked really well, and from the high line is where Aki was mopping up everything. He was brilliant today, and sort of, it just looked like Diaz didn't have to do anything purely because Aki was just taking. Obviously it's his old club as well, so he needed to prove a point, maybe, just show why he's moved on and things. So he had a great performance from the back, and then the midfield, you can't really, you can't pick on anyone's performance in the midfield. Rodri did his job perfectly. We had Gundogan brilliantly played, passed the ball around. De Bruyne was just out of this world again, making those runs, make it difficult for players to tackle him. Getting those balls in through to the front line, the crosses. I mean, yeah, he was brilliant. Foden, I mean, he's not had much of a preseason, and he just slotted in just like that. And he had a good first half. I'm not sure why he came off. Maybe Pep just said, look, I'm happy with your performance.
Calculated minutes in it,
possibly, and obviously, you had even Mahrez. Mahrez had a good game. Perfect, had a perfect game there. Haaland, we have to go to him because obviously it seems to be fantasy football world at the moment.
Oh man, I captained him instead of Jesus.
Yeah, and exactly, it's these things, and this is what starts a lot of debates these days. Oh, he didn't get points for goals, or he didn't go, and all that stuff. And it's not
he got an assist. He assisted the first goal.
Yeah, he did. But what I'm saying is, look, people have picked him. They want him to score goals. He had a perfect game, even though he didn't score. Seriously, for that assist, firstly, he really dug in and got that ball, put it, nicely threaded through for Gundogan, and that was a good finish.
Do you know, I think as well. Sorry to interrupt him, man, but I think as well, like Haaland not scoring, if anything, echoes and shouts just how good City are. Because I mean, Mikel Arteta had an interview at the start of the season, and he said for the clubs that are above us, which he was referring to Liverpool, City, the top clubs, you need to be scoring about 100 goals each season. And he says they all don't come from your striker; like they need to come from everybody. And I think you had 4 different goal scorers today, did you not? So even though Haaland didn't score, you still have players on your team who can. And that just identifies your strength in your squad, I think. And the fact that Haaland, who's probably one of the biggest goal threat in the world at the moment, and you've got Gundogan who can still pepper goals, De Bruyne who can just fire a shot from 30 yards if he wants to and it will go in. You've got Foden who's a little bit tricky in the box. You've got Cancelo who can deliver an absolute peach. You've got these players and you've got those people that can be utilised in different ways. So like you said, even though Haaland didn't score, I don't necessarily mean it means a bad player or anything. If anything, he's probably taken away defenders. If you probably look at it, I didn't actually watch the game. I would assume, he probably drew centre backs away to open space for other people.
He was. I think. Look, he's a focal point. It's a player that defenders focus on a lot as well.
He has to. His presence is huge.
The directions he ran, he'd take those centre backs with him, which created that space for those other players to come in and score those goals. And
Imran, do you know that he only touched the ball 8 times for 75 minutes?
Yeah, and do you know what? No. That's the thing. We're not used to that. We're not used to seeing that in a City team because we notice with the false nine that player gets involved quite a bit. But when you're isolated the way Haaland is, and don't get me wrong, this guy didn't just stand around in one place. He moved. He pressed for the ball. He ran when he needed to run, and most importantly, he took away some of those players, and I think he did that job really well. He's doing things that we don't usually see, and a certain style we don't see. So we've been used to seeing 4-3-3 formation with Cancelo last season, deployed in midfield, and he'll move his way into the midfield. This season, we've seen Ake and Diaz both sit back, and the full backs push into midfield, and it sort of gives the others the chance to really push out, and it's, you know what, it's a complete system change this season, and it's only there's only limited amount of managers that can pull that off. You won't. I think there's only Pep in the Premier League at the moment that successfully changes systems like that.
Well, you've changed your system. You're still top of the league. Do you know what I mean? You haven't even had to transition yet. That's
the thing. And we usually start off quite slow.
Yeah.
So we've started off really strong this season, and that sort of gives me a lot of confidence going into the middle stages of this season. That it's been we've had 2 games so far, and we picked up 6 points today. We scored 4 goals, kept a clean sheet, and there's nothing more I can ask, to be honest, from the club. And another thing is, today we got these 3 goals early, and then you can see second half it wasn't about pushing on and really look. Today was hot, 30 degrees. I was sat in the stands sweating. My t-shirt was soaked, right? And just imagine what these footballers are doing. You don't have to really run yourself ragged in these games. We're comfortably winning. You know what? Manage the game now. Manage your season, because it's a long season ahead. We've got a World Cup coming up as well, so manage it. and that's exactly what happened today.
Kendall, can anybody get closer to Man City at all? Can anybody get close?
Obviously, the next obvious is Liverpool. So maybe obviously everyone was bigging up Spurs for their window and things like that. We'll soon see after tomorrow, see where teams are. But yeah, just at the moment, just everything that City do is just like near to perfect. So yeah, very, very, very hard to get anywhere near City at the moment. Makes me sick. Everyone like just so nice about it. Like you can't say anything bad about them. It's like it
makes you
so
sick.
annoying.
It makes you sick. Imagine how I feel.
You know what I saw today? Like it was Foden and Mahrez coming in for Grealish, and who started on the right in the last game? I think it was still Foden as well. And
Foden didn't start the first game, so it was Mahrez.
Foden was not started. Mahrez did not start the first game.
Sure. No.
Mahrez, but I can't remember who. But it was someone else. But
he didn't. He didn't.
Yes.
Mate, I'm just looking forward to 20th of October when we play you at the Emirates, because I've said this. 100%. I've said this all season, because our first 8 games are quite easy. In effect, they're quite easy, but our real test. Our real test. No. Listen. I don't. I'm not gassing. I'm just telling you the truth here. So in terms of like our fixtures for the first 8 games are quite easy. And I am looking forward to City. I mean, who wouldn't want to look forward? Because that's going to be the test. That's gonna be us. Okay, are we a serious team? Because if we get slapped 4-0, we're not there yet. If we give you a game and even beat you at the Emirates, then yeah. I mean, I don't care about beating you at the Etihad. I just don't think that's going to happen. Or beating Liverpool at Anfield. What I care about is if we beat you at the Emirates, because then that's we're taking the right sort of step. You know what I mean? And I mean, like Palace, yeah, it's a difficult game away. Leicester could be a tricky team, but they're not really that we should beat them. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to the City game, and I have never seen Arsenal lose a league game when I've gone to the game, and I've watched 28 games now, and I'm making sure I go to Man City and Liverpool this year. Because if it carries out,
Arsenal fans are talking about winning against City now. Oh my god, this is.
Well, no, so I didn't say winning. I said I just want to see the test. I said I want to see the test.
I think one thing first of all, I think
blow my words out.
Look, the way obviously win the easy games. If you can win all the easy games and lose, look, you lose a couple of times to City this season, and
we'll still be up there.
You've got to come to St James's Park next weekend.
Yeah.
Do it at St James's Park. Now I'm lying. It's obviously going to be like 4-0, Smith, but it's calm. We're fine.
Let's go to Newcastle then. Kendall, it's a bad game, right, from Eddie Howe. Graham Potter really came he was prepared. I know you got position in the first half, but they had majority of the shots, and then the second half they controlled the whole thing. And Trippier off the line, and last ditch tackles by Dan Burn. Nick Pope he stopped the shot from inside the 6-yard. It's a great buy. That shows why Nick Pope is one of the highest rated goalkeepers in the league. But what happened? Where is the free flowing Newcastle? What happened to that?
Got Graham.
We seriously missed Matt Target at left back because we had Dan Burn there. I mean, I know Dan Burns has played there a few times in his career for Brighton, but never for us. And we missed that because he has a really good link up with Alan St. Maximin on the wing. And with Dan Burn playing there, because of his defensive mind that he's in our team, didn't have that at all. Our forwards today were atrocious. Genuinely, if we don't sign 2 attackers in this window, it's a failure. I'm telling you now. I was trying to be so calm, and I was trying to be like, oh, I'm not going to get stressed about this window. But I've watched that a day. I watched last week. Even last week, Shah scored, who's a defender. And obviously Callum Wilson had that a great finish, by the way, but he did nothing else for the rest of the game. St. Maximin's final pass is embarrassing. I'm just sick of it now. He does so much, and he does elite skills, but that final pass is just not good enough at the moment. So yeah, Brighton definitely, we counter-attacked really well in the first half, but the rest of it was not good. The only takeaway I can take from today is that we still managed to gain a point when we played that badly. So I'm just because we were so defensively good. Nick Pope was elite today. He was absolutely on another level today, Nick Pope. He was unbelievable. Obviously with all the Nick Pope trending yesterday. So
he has to start, right, Kendall? He has to start.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if Dubravka leaves this window, to be fair. I wouldn't be surprised because I just can't. I don't think it's fair for Dubravka to sit on the bench because I think he's good enough to start somewhere. And I just will probably end up just with Pope and Darlow. But
what about the England? What about the? Don't give me that Pickford stuff, guys. Don't give me that Pickford thing.
It's just because Pickford's never really stepped a foot wrong for England. I think that's why. Pickford's been okay.
Huh? If anyone's going in for Pickford, it's Ramsdale. Let's be real.
Are you serious? Nick Pope is a top.
No, Nick Pope is a fantastic shot stopper. If probably the best shot stopper out of the three. But in modern football, you need to play with your feet, and Ramsdale is just better with his feet than Pickford. And
I'm gonna come to that, but he's not better as a goalkeeper. He's better as an outfield player, probably. But Kendall, why was Nick Pope trending?
Because we have a resident Newcastle poll account called Toon Polls, and you're not allowed to do a Newcastle related poll, like Newcastle United related poll, unless you're tagged Toon Polls. It's just always been like a myth sort of legend thing in Newcastle Twitter. So yesterday Burger King had put out a tweet saying tomato or gherkin on your Whopper. Basically it was a poll, and for some reason Toon Polls just decided to write Nick Pope on it, and then Burger King saw it. They hopped on it. Every single Newcastle fan was writing underneath Nick Pope, Nick Pope, Nick Pope. So then Burger King picked up on it. Then it just bang forward from there. So McDonald's picked up on it. They said if Nick Pope kept a clean sheet today, they would give Toon Polls a free McDonald's breakfast. Specsavers jumped on it. Other clubs jumped on it. Sevilla last night was like, they were playing the game last night. They were like, oh, who do you want to see in the starting lineup? Not a certain English goalkeeper. Like it was just it just went a bit mad, to be honest, on Twitter yesterday. It was just one of them things. But yeah, he was trending yesterday. It was 7th worldwide trend yesterday.
That's crazy.
Anybody having Brighton to finish above 10th this year at all?
Yeah, I did.
I was impressed with last Sunday. Seeing him at Old Trafford, I was really impressed with him. I know it's not saying much because they were playing us, but yeah, I think I can't remember where we put him. Maybe not. Above 10th.
I got Brighton 13th.
Yeah, I think they'll have a good season. Though.
I put them 9th, so I put us 8th and them 9th. But it could be.
I think to draw today, so.
I think Newcastle will be good. My favourite player in the league plays for Newcastle, Bruno. I absolutely love him.
Bruno's such a player. To be fair, by his standards, he had a very average game today. Actually,
I was going to ask
because Caicedo took over the field. Because
Caicedo's a really good player. Really good player.
The fact we could have signed him for 4 million as well makes me sick.
Newcastle he took over the whole thing, like Caicedo.
As well.
They couldn't dribble him, they couldn't pass him, they couldn't do anything around him. This guy can be better than Bissouma. It's the fact that they got rid of Bissouma left.
Yeah, really good.
He is so good on the ball as well. It's unbelievable watching a player like this play. First, is it the second season for him? He only played a handful of games last
season. Yeah.
I think
my God, they beat him in, haven't they, and stuff like that. But he's a United fan, obviously. Ecuador, Antonio Valencia. We could have had him. And this again, the board. I might do a float back to United, but yeah, we decided not to get him. But let's go back to Newcastle and Bruno. I'm hoping he has a great start to the start of the season. I'm hoping he gets in the World Cup squad. Obviously,
he's so good. I cannot express how good he is. And that's not even from the thing I know, and I know that I'm not biased, is because other fans say it. So I know that I'm not just the one who's oh, he's so good. Everyone says it. There's fans oh, we should have had him. I wish we'd had him, and he's just so good. But I must admit, Botman today, he was kind of pushing a little bit. He was kind of pushing a little bit, but his stats are really, really good today. Really impressed. Obviously, it's a little bit of a hard league, especially as a defender, as we've seen several teams before. Really, really hard to come into the Premier League as a defender and just slot in straight away. But yeah, he did a really, really good job. So that's the good thing to take from the day. We got a point and played bad. So never in our lives before would we have done that.
If you don't get 2 attackers, then Kendall, do you still think you'll finish 8th, or do you think you might?
No. Because it's absolutely inevitable at this point that Callum Wilson will get injured halfway through the season, because he has done every single year. Not even before us. So
who would you get? Just out of curiosity, who would you like?
I mean, all of our targets are kind of fading away at the moment.
What about Pepe?
Madison? So Madison was the big one. They want. Don't even try and shove Pepe on me, please. We might have a little bit of a bargain chip now. No, but obviously there's been big rumours about what's his face, Ramos from Benfica.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's just scored again today.
Yeah, he just scored today.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumours around him because obviously we played Benfica in pre-season.
If I'm not mistaken, the president said Ramos is actually better than Nunes. Did he not?
He did. Yeah, and a couple of Benfica fans actually think the same. So there is that. I mean, I don't know how far that is. That's just been a rumour mill.
90 million pending next year.
Yeah, James Maddison talks has been there, but we put 2 bids in. They were both rejected, which was fair enough because they were way below the belt. I don't know, but I'm just honest to God. I hope Dan Ashworth was there today, so I hope to God he's watched that today and thought this cannot just go on. Like it just can't go on because there's just no point. You're never going to get anywhere if you don't. We've been needing an attacker now for about 3 years. Chris Wood was only going to be there we only bought Chris Wood for the crack. Yeah. Because we had the money to. Like we literally only bought Chris Wood because we wanted Burnley to go down just in place of us. That was literally it, and it worked. So do you know what I mean? So he's never going to be a thing, right? It's just never going to happen, unfortunately. And when you bring on Sean Longstaff and Jacob Murphy over Chris Wood, then it's kind of like when you need a goal, it's like, yeah, that's not going to work anymore. So I don't know. I wouldn't even care if we went in for like Callum Hudson-Odoi, for example, on a loan. I wouldn't actually care about that because I would quite like that. So it's just I would just want someone to come in now who's of decent quality, who I believe can help with depth issues because we really just have none up front at all.
I think you should go for Jonathan David if you went for anyone. Genuinely, I think he could do some serious.
There's so many people that I think we could have gone for. Like there was we played Atalanta in pre-season as well, and Zapata was another one that was linked with us in January. And I was there's genuinely so many out there. It's just we keep for some reason going in with bids that are way below what the club value them at.
You should have signed Scamacca instead of West Ham.
I did say that. But at the moment, unfortunately, West Ham have European football despite it being the Conference League. So no matter what, it's going to be a thing of, they have that over us at the moment. So even if it was between us, then we were in for I think I was saying it on the show the other week, we were in for I can't say his name properly, like Guedes or whoever just signed for Wolves. We were all also in for him. Yeah. And obviously I don't think we were in as much as Wolves. I don't think we got a bid or anything like that. But yeah, it just seems to be interest FC at the moment. It's not like bid FC. It's not like get a player in FC. Yeah, it's just intermittently FC. That's what we used to be. So yeah, I'm just we definitely need 2 attackers now.
I think Newcastle still have a great season though. Honestly, I think if you're double A, I think look, if you're United, you've got to be looking over your shoulder at Newcastle and West Ham right now.
So some United fans, obviously. So there's a
double A. There are people just dropping on the video just to say a couple of words about United. It's hilarious. Sorry, it's just hilarious.
Did you see? Did you see Hassam's first comment about changing your name to Quadruple A? I've done it for him, so there you go. Just for you. There was the people thinking. There was a show on here where we was predicting the league table on current signings or where it were. And a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, they put United 5th. I wasn't here for it. I came back the next week and me and
But you gave us hell in the group. We were
how dare you put Manchester United?
How dare you guys put us as 5th? And but you have Ten Hag, you have Eriksen, you signed Martinez, and we're
still got. You don't have to worry about us yet. You don't have to worry about
back to United. Double A. I don't want to go back to United.
We need to be looking over our shoulder at Newcastle, Leicester, and
West Ham.
Yes, absolutely.
100% we do. And I'd even say Brighton to an
do you know what? I can't listen to that just because I just don't feel like it because we're just so we've just been so bad for so long. I'm surely not. I almost it's like a dream. But yeah, I do think
Newcastle in Europe would be shit house. Love that.
That'll be amazing. But I do think 10th for me is I would be really, really, really happy with 10th this season. Just because it's progress. We were 11th last season. 4th in the form table for the second half of the season. So 10th for me is progress. And we, apart from Rafa Benitez season, we haven't been top 10 in the table since Alan Pardew days. So I'll be happy with 100% happy with 10th, but I do hope it's a little bit higher.
Kendall, guys, we need to hit that like Imran. We need to hit the like button, guys. We need to get to 100. We're in 81 now. Hit that like button,
guys. Come on, smash
please do before we get. I want that before the hour mark, please. Imran, go ahead, my friend. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just finishing off probably on that point. Arsenal have found some success off a couple of our substitutes. So I was just wondering, we've got a few substitutes we could offload. I don't know if you've got 100 million, but you can take Jack Grealish off.
I think we do. I just think it's just not getting spent. I'm hoping now they've saw that idea and they're like, right, just get our Amex out, go and just spend it. There's a credit card, just go and do what you want with it. That's what I'm hoping, but I doubt it.
Last question on Newcastle, guys. When will you see Newcastle's first trophy? When? Because it's a matter of when, right? It's not a matter of if.
5 years.
5?
Nah, 5.
Nah, 2 years. 2 years.
2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I've got PTSD. I cannot deal. I'm like, no.
It'll be the Champions League as well, Kendall. Yeah.
Listen, honestly, I've said everyone was mourning because I got asked this question the other week, and someone said, "Would you rather take top 4 this season or a trophy?" I said trophy. I didn't even hesitate. And everyone's like, "What? Really? You'd rather have a trophy than top 4?" I was like, I tell you now, top 4 is not a trophy, right? A trophy to Newcastle United, aside from the championship that we've won in the last however long, and the Intertoto Cup, rest in peace, right? We have not won a trophy for like 60 odd years. I've never seen us win anything apart from the championship.
Finish 4th and get knocked out qualifier. So
exactly, and then what's the point? You finish 4th and your depth's gone, you've got injuries, whatever. I would much, even as the Carabao Cup, I will cry. I will go missing for a week if we win the Carabao Cup, right?
So you've got the money. You've got the money, right?
Leicester won the Champions League, but that's before club.
Yeah.
And
thing is, you can't spend that money. So don't you think that maybe top 4 attracts you some of those players that you can't?
I do get that. I do get that 100%. But I don't think, even regardless, just hypothetically, like we are not ready for Champions League right now. Like at all. The squad's not ready for Champions League. Even if we got Champions League, I know we're miles off it, but just hypothetically, we're not ready for Champions League to even go anywhere near and perform against the top teams in Europe at all. So, I mean, to be fair, pre-season, we were all right. Like, obviously, Benfica had been in the Champions League. Atalanta had been in the Champions League before. We were all right. We played well. We beat Atalanta, and it was 3-2 to Benfica just in the last minute they scored. So, yeah, we're just not ready for Champions League. But I do get what you're saying, man, 100%. It would obviously attract the best players in Europe at the time. But, yeah, I would.
A couple of years and you'll be ready for.
I think it's just a process.
It's just a process. Like I feel like what you need to do is first get to the top half of the table, something you've not done for a while. Maybe pick up a domestic trophy in a year, 2 years, and then work your way up the table. Go to 7th, go to the Conference League. Try win that, because whoever goes into the Conference League as an English team should be favourite no matter what, really. Just because of the sheer quality in the Premier League is just far better than anything in that league out anywhere else. But then you go to there, then you can maybe push up to Europa and go from there. But that's going to take like 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years. But like I could see Newcastle winning an FA Cup in 2. Genuinely.
So when is Arsenal winning again?
When's Arsenal, mate? We'll probably win one this year. I've genuinely think we'll win one this year. I mean, I want to
winning something Europa this year. That's what you think?
100%. Yeah. If we don't win Europa, I'm fuming. I'm actually.
I love coming with a chest, bro. I love coming with a chest.
But I said that before. I said, huh?
You got to ask me, Mo, when United going to win something.
Well, United win.
Maybe the championship next year.
You won the Europa League. When did you win the Europa League?
You took me joke. I was going to say championship promotion. Yeah.
No. United. They're gonna. The thing about these Glazers, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about United. They know how to push it past the line at the end. That there's a threshold, and it never goes past that. They lost 5-0 to Liverpool last year, and they got demolished. But they know how to push like that. Like they will get you a band-aid at the end to just silence the fans. But anyway, I want to move to Arsenal, to be honest.
Band-aid covering a gunshot hole, yeah. That's what it is.
I know they do that. Arsenal, you know what, Monty? I have like the only game today that I have 12 notes. I write notes. I watch all the games. I watch 4 games and it's 12 notes. And I'm like, number 1, I'm going to stop by one thing. Do you think that Fofana
is that worth £8 million? No.
No. The early chance that he had, do you think that would have changed the outcome of the game at all?
Personally, no. But I know what you mean. I don't think it would have, just because the fans were so like as you saw during that game, they scored twice and instantly we just replied. And even after, and I think that was actually the most mind-blowing thing of the whole day, because I was literally there, was when Saliba scored the own goal. Was every single fan in that stadium clapped and cheered his name. And I have never seen a player score an own goal and then get celebrated. Like it was because if you actually watch the game, he had a fantastic game. He was unbelievable. Like he's different mustard. Like that guy is a Rolls Royce defender, and I'll say that with chest. Like he's 21 and doing that. He's a Rolls Royce defender off the bat, mate. He's a baller. It was just unfortunate own goal, but the whole team got behind him, and then that picked up the whole squad. And then we came back and scored literally like a minute and a half later. Do I think
How about the Jesus first goal, bro? Like,
mate,
what is that, man?
Bro, that was ridiculous. Did you see the whole play, the build up to it as well?
Yeah,
the way he went out to Martinelli, went to Jesus from wing, he came back into Martinelli to Xhaka. Xhaka got an assist and a goal today. Like Xhaka, what?
It was
2022.
It was so good. The problem is the mental. I still have that. Some, like I don't want to point the negatives out, but the difference between the teams that win the trophies and the team that come short a little bit is that mental capacity of like keeping the focus for 90 minutes, and you kind of lost it for 2 minutes, and this they scored right away. They scored.
Yeah, I think the first one though was the own goal. That was just own goal. That was a bit.
But it was a long ball. It was 2-on-2. If he didn't touch it, Vardy would have tapped it in. It was behind him.
I think with as well, the second goal was just poor from Aaron Ramsdale. It should never go for his feet. It shouldn't have gone for his legs like that, and I just think it was poor from him. But he had a fantastic game.
And you just been shouting him for England #1 as well.
No. But it was just poor from him. I think, like you said, he's just.
By the way, he made 2 big mistakes today. The penalty that wasn't a penalty.
It was never a penalty. It was never a penalty.
Exactly. But any other player could have gotten the penalty. If Vardy dangled his leg, it would have been a penalty. Ramsdale had no business coming out that, because Vardy was going wide. There was nothing happening in that ball. It was a long ball wide. Why would he come out? The problem is his decision making. That's what I take. That's his only negative is his decision making sometimes is off.
Yeah, but
I think he's 22 only, right? He's 22 only.
23 now, I think. I think he just turned 23. He might be 22. But yeah, he's so young. Like you said, he for a goalkeeper, that's young. Like he's got so much time. And like he has lots of raw talent. He can definitely improve. But we're seeing that a lot. A lot of our players are improving. And I think now, and we now I'm not going to say this because we're not there yet, but I saw something today that I've not seen Arsenal ever do, and it's something that I've seen City do a lot. And it's especially when we had a throw in, because I was sort of on the clock end, so I could see sort of the pitch from as if you were playing like pro teams or something. But literally, like I could see it, and the way that we had Sacco as our right wing come all the way over to, if you looked at like a pitch and you drew your 11, it would be where the left centre mid would be, and that was our right wing. That's how far along the pitch we were. Jesus was in the middle of that, and we congested that whole side, and it was just Ben White trailing on the right. This is something I see City do all the time. Like last year's season, they would compress the side and they would have Cancelo sort of out the back just to cover the diagonal. We're starting to see these sort of stuff, and it's encouraging. It's definitely encouraging to see. I'm not going to get blown by it until we get a lot of consistency. That's the main thing. But what I'm seeing now is very different from what I've seen Arsenal do in the last few years, and I think one of the big ones was this half. So when we went into the half 2-0, I think last season we would have tried to defend the whole game and just keep the 2-0. We didn't do that. I think what got said was go out there, absorb the pressure, because Leicester were always going to come out and try and press. We got an unfortunate own goal, but then we reacted and got a goal straight away. We didn't sit on that. We didn't panic. We just worked and got everything. They scored again, and we just went back again. Like we never sat back. Whereas I think last season, especially in the season before, Arsenal would have sat back. We would have gone 1-0, 2-0 up and just tried to defend it. But that's because I think now Arteta has a lot more confidence in the back line and the attackers. So he knows he can sort of risk to go forward because he has the defenders to defend the counter. And he also has the players good enough to go forward with. So I saw a lot of different Arsenal today, and it was kind of City-esque, but not quite there. There were some things that needed to improve. There were some wayward passes. Like Thomas Partey, I don't know if you saw today, he did a Cruyff turn, yeah? He left Drewsbury Hall for a hot dog, absolute hot dog. He then sent a ball straight down the entire middle of the team through about 4 players, past Fofana, beautifully to Jesus, but he put too much power on it. He just put too much on it, and it went all the way across. And honestly, if we can change those balls to passes, because if that was Rodri, that ball is hitting Haaland every time. every time that ball is hitting him every time. If we get that consistency there, we're going to be a serious team. I genuinely, I said it with chest. I think we'll give anyone a problem.
Monty, are you looking forward to wearing light blue next season then? Because
to what?
You're looking forward to wearing light blue next season. I think you're just going to have a kit change.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, mate. Like, literally, man. I don't know what's going on with the kits, man.
Monty, that is the aim, isn't it? The way it's playing. And obviously, that's the way football. Yeah, it is.
Well, do I think so? Actually, I'll go back on it. People say it's modern football. I think that's actually a lie, because back in the 1970s, when you had Ajax playing total football, what we are seeing now is total football, but now we have the actual fitness and the science and the backing to actually achieve it. So I'll go back on my set and say modern football. It's just total football that's been perfected.
Yeah.
Because like when you look at those Ajax teams back in the 70s, mate, they were doing a mazza. You had strikers coming in at right backs flying in at left mid, like they were just moving all about and they were just fitting in. But yeah, that's basically what we're doing. So anyone can come in, fit in, and we saw Jesus come in on the wing today. Martinez stepped up front. Saka was moving across the line. What I saw today was beautiful, and this is why I love Zinchenko. Thank you for letting him have. Like, I don't know why you sold him. Thank you. When we went on attack, we were on a back four. We then go to a back three. Zinchenko fits into the middle to go next to Partey in the midfield, which then pushed Xhaka to go forward, which allowed Ødegaard and Xhaka to overload the box, which is exactly what De Bruyne and Gundogan do. They sit outside the box and they poach those second balls. That's exactly what happened today. And Xhaka got a goal and an assist doing that. That's fucking mental. It's 2022 and he got a goal and assist in a game. Normally only clocks one against United. That was so exciting to see, because Tierney doesn't do that for us. Tierney is great defending. He's a way better defender, but he only bombs down the wing. But Zinchenko, because he can go into that middle, that completely changes the way we play. So yeah,
Tierney's bench now, right? He's done.
Yeah, do you know what? I 100%. I think Zinchenko's deserved a start.
Because Xhaka, if no midfielder comes in, Xhaka is starting. He looked so good for the second game running.
Do you know
leader on the pitch? He was.
We say second game running. I think he's been good for a while now, since he had that interview with the fans about towards the end of last season. And I've said this since then. Like, he's now more connected to fans. I feel like there was such a distrust and
why Samuel? Why they shouldn't get carried away? They're playing good.
Yeah,
their team is playing
carried away. I'm just being
good.
realistic.
Let them. You remember Arsenal lost the first 3 games last year. So
you know why they shouldn't be getting carried away, and it's a reason in modern football, because fans are not allowed to enjoy anything. They can't enjoy.
I've said this. I hate the celebration, please. You know, like today when you draw, and they're all like, "Oh, you've celebrated because you got a 1-1 against so." I'm like, "Yeah, so I have. We haven't lost points."
Fans are miserable. If you show any sign of happiness,
City celebrated today when they won against. I'm sorry.
You celebrate a win.
Bournemouth. City celebrated today. You watch their Instagrams. People are allowed to celebrate when they win. I don't know why people are like, they don't want.
People don't like it, man. They don't like. They want it to be perpetually miserable. Like when it comes to
people
football.
who say that though are actually scared of the team. Like if people are saying, "Oh, don't get carried away, Arsenal fans," that you best believe they're worried about Arsenal. Like, I'm being dead serious.
It was like last week when we beat Forest. Everyone was like, "Oh, Forest have only just got promoted. Obviously, you'll beat them." I'm like, "Excuse me, sorry. It took us 14 games to get a win last season. I think I'm going to celebrate winning on the first game of the season. Thanks very much."
Absolutely,
100%.
Yeah, I don't know where my next win's coming from. So when it does come,
United's fixtures, honestly, they're peak. Like looking at your next 5 fixtures, it's not looking good. And if you play like that, you're going to lose all of them.
Well, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. No,
really, thank you for that money.
Honestly, look, because
you don't want me to enjoy anything. Look, you're being a modern fan. You don't want me to enjoy anything, do you? That's your problem.
I think
Arsenal, guys. Imran, are Arsenal tipped for third? Are Arsenal tipped for third in your books at all?
That's a bit early.
Bit early. We need to. I want to see how Tottenham play against Chelsea.
I said 4th. In my predictions, I said 4th.
Get a few games under the belt, and look, everyone has to. You can't start calling positions this early.
Yeah.
Look, we started. Mid part of the season, we started running away with the league last season. Then all of a sudden, there was a bit of a collapse for us. And Liverpool,
and I think the World Cup's going to have a massive impact. This year.
It is. It is, and it just takes one injury in the team to completely change things. So yeah, I think we'd hold off on any predictions of those sorts.
I'm just looking for, as an Arsenal fan, I'm like, for the first time, I'm actually looking forward to playing the big boys. Fight Liverpool, Man City. Like, I'm actually looking forward, because normally I'd like, fucking hell, we're going to get slapped 4-0.
Oh my God,
We just
you
knew
didn't
we was
even
going to
say
get slapped.
Chelsea is one of the big boys. Come on.
Yeah, but I don't think they're one of the big boys. They're just not there yet. They just piped their own team up. Like, they're not there. Like, look at, they've got Havertz starting as their striker. Like, get a grip. Do you know what I mean? Tottenham are better than you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, relax.
The criticism I've always had against Arsenal is, you rock up at Anfield and you play this open football. You go toe to toe, even with the players that you've had in the past. You can't go toe to toe with Liverpool. You can't go toe to toe with City. You just can't do it. And if you look at the teams that have managed to get success against these two teams, they're the teams that have come and set up shop. And they're the only ones that have somehow managed to get any success.
Yeah.
So that's only criticism. And I thought, obviously Arteta knows that he doesn't have the team yet. Why is he going toe to toe? So this has been the issue previous seasons. Now I'm assuming this year he's going to go all out.
Yeah, 100%. I low-key think, like, Arteta, and I just think this is what he's doing, because Arteta is just a competitive person. I think he's telling them to win that. I think he's aiming really high. Personally, I think he's aiming really high. The club might not target him to do it, but knowing him as a character, he's definitely telling them to challenge for everything, like, just as a person. And to answer that Colombian Spice question coming up with Tielemans' performance, I don't necessarily feel like Leicester had a bad performance. I just feel like Arsenal actually made them look bad. Like, they actually made them look bad because we actually just controlled it so well. And like Leicester, at the end of the day, they are a good team. They have solid players. Like Dewsbury Hall's coming into the light a bit. He's a good player. They've got Tielemans, they've got Vardy, they've got Castanga, they've got Fofana. They've got a good solid base.
How did you see Tielemans today, though?
He was good. He was okay, but because we suffocated their whole midfield by having Zinchenko step up, and we basically created 4 in that box, we suffocated the whole midfield. None of them really got an opportunity to do anything, genuinely. And it wasn't that they had a bad game. They just didn't. They couldn't have a good game. It was impossible for them to get any space. So, yeah, I don't necessarily think it was bad for them. And
I'm really looking to Arsenal. I'm really looking forward to Arsenal, as you said, playing Spurs, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, because I want to see. You know what? I'm
not worried about Spurs at home, though. I won't even lie. At home, no chance.
For me, I was someone who said Arteta is not good enough. He didn't have a plan. But then towards the end of last season, I said it, and I said it here before the season. I said, I saw what he's trying to do. He didn't have the players. I saw the footprint. And that's what made me think that if Arsenal want to succeed, they have to either get a top coach, which there was none on the market, or stick to the guy and just keep the project going. And they did. But that's what nobody else has, that, to be honest. Like, I get what people saying, because I thought that this guy is nuts. It's crazy, Arteta. But at the end, I see what he's trying to do. He's literally trying to play Pep, but without the whole ball position. He was being direct. He's trying to play a direct football, straight going forward.
I think it's like a system like City, but the way we attack is like Liverpool. It's quick. It's a lot quicker. Whereas direct. City are breakdown. They they keep moving you across. They move across, move you across, and they go bang and they snipe. Whereas Liverpool are like pop it up, straight bang, 3 passes in the box, and it's a goal. Yeah.
I was going to say that Monty's reminding me that I need to go and start All or Nothing. So I need to wallow in some Arsenal misery, because this happiness is making me sick. I don't like Arsenal being happy. And this is...
I'm waiting for the next chunk of episodes, because I think our game's going to be on there.
It will be in there. It will be in there. It was a capitulation.
Guys, I want the people in the comment, please hit that like button. We're like 5 away from 100. Hit that like button. Guys. I'm sure there is like 10 of you that haven't hit the like. I'm sure 20 of you haven't hit the like. Please do. Please do. It's right there. Just like, give us the support for this great panel. Look at them. Look at the beautiful panel that we have today.
What's everyone's thoughts on Chelsea Spurs tomorrow?
Yeah, I was going to come to this. Say?
I'm going for a draw. 1-1.
I think Spurs will win.
Do ya?
Yeah, I do. I think Spurs will finish 3rd. I just think Conte's gone.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's going to be do great. A full season with Conte would be great for Spurs, and they've made great signings.
But when you've got Song and Kane, like you can trouble any team in the world. Like, let's be real.
Son just better do something for my FPL tomorrow because I'm actually sick and tired right now. Like, I'm literally so tired of it. So let's see what I've got now. So like, I've got Haaland and Jesus. That's my front two. But
wow. How do you guys?
I didn't captain Jesus.
There's a limit for the money.
I'm on 52 points. I'm on 52 points, and I've got Alexander-Arnold to play, Reece James to play, Son to play.
I've got 52 as well. I'll back your boy today, Wilson. You know, let me down.
Wills, please don't down to him because you know that he's my guy. I literally love him so much. Like, he's literally like, well, I love Trippier more, but I love Wilson. But don't. Just if anyone's got me in FPL, just. I've said this now. I'm going to say take him out. Actually, don't. Yeah, do, because we're probably not going to score against Man City next weekend.
If you don't have Martinelli in your team, you're a fool. Like, I'm sitting on 58. I did 79 last week, which was all right. I've still got James.
I did 50 last week, and it was so annoying because that was like a bad result last week. Whereas normally last season, 50 would have been unreal.
All right, I got 70 odd last year. I got Martinelli in my team.
Martinelli, you've got to have him on your team.
Martinelli and Jesus was my vice captain.
Nah, Martinelli is like one game every like 3-4 games. He was great. No. Don't get me wrong. I have my notes. Superstar was Martinelli today. Even Jesus scored too, but superstar was Martinelli. Dude, the guy was defending, attacking, getting involved in the midfield. Like he was doing like everything that a modern winger would do. Like getting involved in every single play.
Who's been really poor in my FPL? Coutinho. I need to take him right out. Actually, just mind.
He's injured. He got injured today.
Yeah, he's injured.
He got injured today. 0 points. So
Martinelli.
Martinelli will outscore Saka this season. Martinelli will outscore Saka this season.
I'm going to see what
I didn't want to point out the negatives, Monty.
Yeah, Saka had a bad game.
So quiet.
Yeah, it was
so
quiet. But
quiet.
I think that's also positive that because last season we relied so heavily on Saka, because if Saka had a bad game, Arsenal had a bad game. But I think that because Saka was quiet today and we still came out 4-2 is a good sign. I think that is a good sign to look at because last season if Saka was quiet
as well.
But again, we still won it. Do you know what I mean? Last season, if he was quiet last season, we had an awful game, we would lose. We probably lost or drew the game because he was our goal scorer, he was our main threat, and the fact that we don't have to rely so heavily on him at such a young age is great. But I do agree with you. He had a bad game today. He was quiet today.
I stopped playing it 2 years ago.
Huh?
I stopped playing it 2 years ago.
FPL.
It brings unnecessary stress that you don't need.
Yeah. It made me miserable, really seriously.
I wasn't gonna do it this year either, but then everyone was like, join me league. And I was like, fine. So I just did it, but it just
we'd win and Aguero hadn't scored and I'd be miserable.
It's what in Haaland to score, so or what in City players to do well. Like, what am I doing?
You know what? I'm happy today.
I'm just putting this on the screen. I'm putting this on the screen.
Don't be miserable because you just have to accept it. Be happy, smile. Life is bigger, you know.
I just had a notification that someone like has tagged me saying that they've transferred from Manchester United to Newcastle United for the season. So you know, Kaz.
What?
Just saying. We'll
name and shame right now because
you'll see it on my Twitter, man. But yeah. So, Kaz, if you want to just come and be a plastic for like a season, I'll accept it. I'm just, we'll accept the plastics for a season.
Well, anyway, guys, Double A, please plug in your channel. I know it's Talking Kit, but I want to hear it from yourself.
Well, first, obviously, Never a Foul. I'm a host on Never a Foul as well. So catch me on Tuesdays with Daps. A City United. I'm not looking forward to this episode one little bit. His team wins 4-0. My team loses 4-0. I ain't looking forward to this. But it is what it is. It's a good chat between two legacy Man United and City fan. And it's a good every Tuesday around 10, half 10. Also as well, I'll get Talking Kit in there. Why not? Talking Kit, the greatest football kit content on the internet. We do live shows, short videos, podcasts. We've got a mix of everything for everyone. Kendall's been on the channel. It was great to have everyone on occasion. I'll have to do it again. Monty and Imran, obviously, always welcome. Mo as well for that episode. I want that. But yeah, we're back doing our live shows on the 24th of August. I might as well plug it now. We've got a massive guest, Full Kit Rankers. where we rank 10 kits. We've got one of the CEOs of classic football shirts, Dougie Burton, coming on. So that's a massive guest to have on. Knows his stuff. So yeah, it's great to have him. So yeah, 24th of August, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. Full Kit Rankers, talking kit. Just get subscribing. That's it.
Kendall?
That is the greatest name of a podcast ever, by the way. Full Kit Rankers is unreal. But yeah, this is just me. Obviously, Kendall Rowan. You'll find me anywhere: YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, or with this handle. If you want to go and check out the latest episode of The Overlap as well, which we just did with Gary Neville, that is available on YouTube to go and watch now. And yeah, I'll just hop on. I have no home. I'm a homeless podcaster. Like, just go and like go from home to home. I'm like a sofa surfer. So yeah, that's just me. But you'll find me somewhere, I'm sure.
Is that just a Geordie thing, or?
Well,
Imran.
Wow.
He didn't know what to say there. It was like verbal diarrhea. He was like, should I say it? Should I say it? I was going to say
it. Was just sitting there. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this. Oh, right.
Yeah,
so I guess it's me now, isn't it? Okay, yeah. So get me on Twitter, AFC Monty, Monty_official_. But just type AFC Monty. If you want to get me on Insta, you can. I don't know why you would, but you can. OMG Monty. Let's have it. I also feature on the Arsenal Therapy podcast. So if you are an Arsenal fan and you want some therapy, I mean, the therapy is just watching the games nowadays. But if you want to listen to us, Ask Therapy Pod, you can get us on iTunes, Spotify, and we actually had Andrew from Arsblog feature with us last week, so that was a big one.
Thank you so much, Imran. Where can people find you, my friend?
So just quick, is the Arsblog big, by the way?
The Arsblog's the biggest one. It's the biggest one. It's the biggest one.
It's a big Arsblog. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's the big Arsblog, bro. It's bunda, it's peachy, it's got cake for days.
Bunda, you know. Okay.
Yeah, you'll find me on Instagram or Twitter. I am City Guy. And yeah, that's where you find me.
Yes, and guys, make sure to turn on the notification on your YouTube, so you'll hear from us whenever we go live. Tomorrow, Arsenal show, 11:30 a.m. That's the Arsenal show tomorrow. If you want to hear all the Arsenal fans gassing their club up and talking about them winning the league, winning the Europa League, and dominating the whole London thing. London is gonna be red. We know that.
London is always red. Let's be real. Come on.
But anyway, from all of us here, please, I want to thank my panel today. You guys were great. It's a great discussion.
Big up Mo. Everyone big up Mo as well. The whole
tactical, technical, and a little bit of banter that's only needed sometimes, but not a lot. So no hate. And please, before you go, like this video, hit the like button. It's underneath the chat, underneath the video, if you're on YouTube. And we'll hope to see you guys. Probably we'll see you tomorrow after before that, the Chelsea Spurs game for the Arsenal show, and then after for a reaction. And thank you everybody for being here. And it's a great honor, and it's Never a Foul family. Make sure to like us, follow us on socials if you haven't yet. And hopefully we'll see you soon.